Wait. The video's starting, right? Yes, finally, you got it right! Yay! Woohoo! Okay, hi, my name is Flopsy, and, welcome to Math Expressions. Oh my goodness. Today, we are going to review our shapes that we should have already known from previous lessons, such as circles, squares, rectangles, hexagons, triangles, a lot of these things. But before we review all our shapes and practice with extreme difficulties with these shapes, we should start off with the easiest shapes to learn, circles, that is. Because remember, not every kid knows a lot about shapes. A lot of kids work on their own pace, and that's acceptable. As long as they are learning, they're winning. So, yeah. Just remember, guys, every kid works at their own pace. So, for example, some kids might get bored and say, I already know my circles. Let's move on to hexagons. I like the extremes. While some other kids could be like, huh? What is this? Is it a shape? I think it's a shape. Wait, no. See? They're kind of like that. So, to prevent those confusions, we thought we would do a shape review video for both the advanced and the beginners on shapes. Don't worry if you forgot your shapes. Sometimes you could lose your memory, but this is occasional and nothing to be worried about. In fact, we forget things after we fall asleep, because falling asleep clears away our memory. Yes, great job. Now, can we please get back to the topic? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. We're going to start reviewing the easiest shapes for you guys to learn, which are round and do not have any sides or corners. They represent a coin. It's called a circle. A circle. Let's spell it. C-I-R-C-L-E. That is how you spell circle. And to say circle, you just say sir, and then col after it. Sir, col. Pronounce with me, beginners. Sir, col. Circle. Huh? I can't hear you guys. Circle. 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 Great job. Now you know how to say circle. And a circle is a very round shape. It is completely round. So, let's look into circles. Circles. Come on, beginners. Say it with me. Circles. 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 These are circles. They are round shapes. Say it with me again. These are circles. That's right, they are. And they are round shapes. I can't hear you. Let's do it again. These are circles. They are round shapes. Read. You guys with me? Read. Okay, good. Because now I can hear you. Okay, anyways, these are circles, and they are round shapes, like these. This is a circle, and this is a circle. Well, you might think, Flopsy, why are these shapes of different sizes? That's a very great question. These two shapes are still circles because they are both round and they both do not have any sides or corners. Size does not matter as long as the shape is round and does not have any edges or corners, then it's a circle. If it does not meet those properties, then it's not a circle. If a shape is not round, it's not a circle. Say it with me, everybody. if a shape is not round, it is not a circle. That's right. I can't hear you. When a shape is not round, it's not a circle. When a shape is not round, it's not a circle. Okay, the advanced kindergartners out here might be like, oh, I already know my circles. Okay, well, get ready. We're getting into the deeper concept of circles. So basically, these are circles. They are round. They don't have any sides or corners. Corners are also known as points because they are represented by tiny little dots. Boink! See? That might be for beginners to know. But even advanced kindergartners still need help with these because they could still forget what they are. And in fact, even behave like beginners. Because, duh, they're simply just kindergartners. You need to help them out some way. So we decided to do a shapes review about circles, squares, rectangles, all of the kindergarten shapes you should know. I am not including the oval, the heart, and the star, which are way too easy. So, yeah. But you should know the heart and the star, right? The heart represents love. The star represents like one of those night stars in the sky. Well, a cartoon night star. And an oval is like a circle, but elongated. So, yeah, an oval is like a circle, but much longer. A heart symbols love, and a star represents a cartoon star in the night sky. So, yeah, shapes could have different meanings. Also, there's another shape called the crescent, which is shaped like the moon, or even an eggplant, or a banana. But we're not going to talk about those shapes because, well, these shapes are really kind of boring for advanced kindergartners because they are very easy shapes and there is not a lot of information needed to know about these shapes. But still, it could be pretty tough, so we're not going to include those shapes. Instead, we're going to include the straightforward, basic geometric shapes like circles and squares and rectangles and triangles and whatnot. So, let's begin. Okay, so the blue circle is larger than the yellow circle because its distance completely around is bigger than the distance completely around this shape. Look! This distance is bigger than this distance. Think about it. Think about how long it would take you to trace these circles. It would take you longer to trace the blue circle than the yellow circle, right? Because they are of different sizes. But all circles can come in a variety of sizes as long as they are the same shape and the same, well, and different colors too. Some shapes can be the same color, like these, but color and size does not really matter. All that matters is shape. That makes a shape, basically. So, yeah. So, let's practice tracing some circles. This is for both the beginners and the advanced kindergarteners, because not only do you have to keep track of tracing, but since there are no straight sides in a circle, you would have to draw one completely looped curve, which could be very tricky. I'm going to show you what to do. Don't worry. It could be very easy. So, for beginners, this may be tricky for advanced kindergartners to understand. But just in case, I will show you. You draw a curve just like this one. That's not a circle. It isn't at all. But wait until I draw another curve. We start out from this curve and then draw another curve. And that's still not a circle. But just wait a second, that is. And another curve. And here we go. We get a circle. A circle. Wow. How interesting is that? We could draw a circle only by drawing 3 curves. Yes! Because, although it doesn't have straight sides, this curve, and this curve kind of make a circle altogether. So, for the beginners and the advanced kindergartners out there, this is one of the best ways to draw a circle, mainly because drawing in one simple curve may not be as easy. But just in case you want to know the more advanced way to draw a circle, it's like this. You put your marker here and swoosh it around. You get a circle. There we go. So, yeah. Although the circles are the same color, they are all circles. What matters is, if they are round, they are circles. So, let's trace a few more. This circle is very tiny. This circle is ginormous. Then we get to the medium-sized circles. And some of the small circles. Come on, trace circles with me. Up and around, you get the letter C. Another letter C, and you get the circle, you see? See? Get it? Because when you trace the letter C, it kind of looks like 3/4 of a circle. But then when you draw another C, you get a full circle. So drawing a letter C and its reflective letter C could make a circle as well. That's fascinating. But we could also draw circles inside circles, like these. Ooh. They kind of look like eyeballs a little, don't they? Let's draw some more circles. This is a circle, and this is a circle. Pink! And that's a tiny circle in the middle. That's a circle, because it's round. And although I only did 1 point for the tiny circle, you could still do that, because doing that will create a point. And points are always going to be circles, which are dots. So, another way to make circles is to just do little binks. Bink! See? Although that one is very tiny, even tinier than this one, it is still a circle because, look very carefully here, this is completely round. So, that's another way to make a circle. This is technically for beginners to know, but for advanced, give it a go. See what kinds of circles and round shapes you could make. Circle. That's a circle. This is a circle. That's a circle. That's a circle. That's a circle. And this is a circle. And this is a circle too. And if we draw 2 lines and a smiley, we get a smiley face. Ah. And that's a circle. Ah. Circles can be in daily life, like in smiley faces. Look, the face is a circle. It's round. See? But that's not all. We could also draw circles based on how round it is, or with other ways. So, we could either draw huge circles or tiny circles, or we could draw, I guess we could draw circles in other ways. Like, take, for example, the letter O. How do you know how to trace the letter O? Very simple. To write the letter O, you just draw a circle. See? That is the letter O, like in octopus. Yes, octopus. But if we look very closely here, the letter O in octopus represents a circle, because in order to trace the letter O, you just have to draw a circle. But that does not mean that the letter O is this little circle right here. Be careful, because that point is too small to be a letter O. So, octopus is the remaining sound. So, that dot is too small to become a letter O, and we will instead have to draw a bigger circle to make octopus. See? That is how circles can appear in daily life, like in words starting with the letter O, starting with a shape, an O circle shape. And there's another O in octopus. Well, at least in this word I'm drawing over here, because I like to experiment with O's and circles too. Yes! Circles can also surprisingly be found in numbers. For example, the number 9. We all should know the number 9, right? 9 is a number. But if we look very closely over here, it's not this line, but this curve that makes a difference. Look at the number 9 very closely. What do you notice about the number 9? I think I notice that it has a circle too. This is the circle. This is literally the 9's hidden circle. So literally, numbers could have hidden circles on them. Like, for example, the number 2. There are obviously no circles here, because how could that even be possible? But hold that thought, because I'm about to do a magic trick. Whoop! Ha! And we get a circle. We could get a circle from everyday numbers, like 2 and 9. Wow. Yes! We could also try to trace these circles correctly by doing a little bit of practice. Follow the dotted lines as you trace a circle. Be careful not to go out of line. Well, it is occasionally okay to go out of line, but try to keep your marker from the line of best fit as possible, because this will make your circle tracing a lot easier. Then the bigger circle, like I said, is going to take longer to trace, and it's going to be harder because it's larger than the yellow circle, and its color is darker, so it kind of hides your marker color a little. But I did it! That's how we trace circles. Like these. These are circles. So if we look over here, these are circles. We could trace circles all day. We could trace so many circles that if you draw enough circles, you could actually fill a book. And then another book, and then another one, and then another one, until you have so many circles that it might seem like you have a whole entire universe of so many circles around. Circle, 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 circle. Stop saying circle, Flopsy. Circle. Flopsy. Circle, 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 circle. Flopsy! Okay, fine. I won't say circle anymore. Just one more circle. Circle. There. Anyways, these are all circles, because no matter what size they are, and no matter what color they are, they're still circles, because all that matters is, if they're round, they're circles. And this red shape is also a circle, because it has one curved edge, and it's round. That's a circle, that's a circle, that's a circle, and that's a circle. That's a circle, and that's a circle. So, yeah. 2 of these circles could be alike and different in every way. Like, for example, if we take the red circle and the purple circle, what we notice is similar is their shape, because Although the purple circle is larger than the red circle, which is technically not the same shape, the purple shape and the red shape are both circles, just with a few minor details. Look at this circle, it's perfectly round. But if we look at this circle, it may look perfectly round, but is actually not perfectly round, because nobody can draw a perfect circle. Actually, that's not true. I've heard some people do some magic tricks about drawing perfect circles, but I don't think you need to know about that. We don't expect perfection, we expect effort. So, yeah, this is not a perfect circle, but this is a perfect circle. But you're wondering, how can a person, print out this perfect circle? Well, obviously, you can't draw a perfect circle on your own. So, if you can't draw a perfect circle, make one. By the way, a perfect circle is a circle that's perfectly round. Yes. Now that we have a great understanding of what circles are, a great understanding. Now we can move into the more difficult shapes, but are still kind of easy. Look. Circle. 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 Flopsy! Okay, sorry, I won't say circle anymore. Okay, enough about circles. We learned about circles. Now we're going to learn and review about squares and rectangles. I think you should already know what these shapes are, thanks to our geometry videos that we posted on our channel. If you want to see them, then just go to our math playlist and click the geometry videos. We would love for you to see them. They are very educational and informational. These are all squares because all of these shapes have the same length and all of their points have the same measure. So, what matters is, if the shape has 4 straight sides and 4 square corners, then it's a square. And by the way, if you don't know, a square corner is a corner that, when you trace it with straight lines, looks like a square itself. Having trouble understanding? Look, this is a square corner because if we trace it, this looks like a square. So that is a square corner. Squares have 4 of these. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, a square could contain smaller squares inside it, especially if we split it this way and this way, which make 4 squares. Like this, we could split squares. We could split squares into 4 smaller squares, like this. This kind of looks like a window. We could also split squares like this to make 2 halves, and even like this. Woo! That is the most lines that we could split a square into. So, we could only split a square for a maximum of 4 lines because it has 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, the most number of times we could split a square is 4 times. Very cool, right? Very amazing. Yes! So, squares and rectangles are really a wonder. They're really a blast. And by the way, just to clarify, let's pronounce, excuse me, these shapes. Let's pronounce them, shall we? Let me build the shapes. Hold on. Shape building in progress. Okay. This is a rectangle. Rectangle. Say it with me. Rectangle. I can't hear you. Rectangle. rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. Oof. That's how you say rectangle. This is a rectangle. Rectangle. 2 short sides, 2 long sides make a rectangle. 2 long sides and 2 short sides make a rectangle. Come on, guys. 2 long sides and 2 short sides make a rectangle. Woo! But there's another surprise. Did you know that squares are a special kind of rectangle? What? But all of the sides are the same length. 2 of them are not short and 2 of them are not long. Yes, but what you're forgetting is a rectangle needs to have 4 sides and 4 square corners. Well, a square has 4 square corners and it has 4 sides. So it is a rectangle. Oh, so you mean this is a rectangle and this is a rectangle? That's right. Squares are a special kind of rectangle because they do not only have 4 sides of the same length, but also have 4 square corners, just like a rectangle does. That's why a square is a rectangle. Because if it has 4 square corners and 4 straight sides, then it's a rectangle, all right? So yeah, a square is a rectangle. Come on, say that sentence with me. A square is also a rectangle. A square is also a rectangle. Come on, guys, I need you to say this for your knowledge. A square is a special rectangle. A square is a special rectangle. Let's say the square's name. Square. 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 Okay. Looks like we're getting the hang of this. Squares are a special kind of rectangle that have all 4 sides the same length and 4 square corners. Square. Rectangle. Also a rectangle. Because remember, a square is a rectangle. Square. Rectangle. Square. Rectangle. 4 straight sides and 4 square corners make a rectangle. Let me hear you. 4 straight sides and 4 square corners make a rectangle. Come on, guys. Say it with me. 4 straight sides and 4 square corners make a rectangle. Okay, there we go. Squares and rectangles are so amazing. Let's practice drawing some. How do we draw a square? Well, let's draw a line. This is a line. I think we should all know what a line is, right? It's a straight path. This is a line because it goes straight. It does not curve. It's a straight line. This means that it is completely straight and it does not curve. But we could draw a vertical line to the horizontal line, and we get 2 lines that meet at a square corner. See, this is a square corner. And then if we draw another copy, that side, square corner. That side, square corner, and another square corner. That makes a rectangle. Now, this may be a little difficult, but this is an oblong. Because, unlike a square, an oblong has only both pairs of opposite sides equal instead of all 4 sides equal. What? So, oblongs and squares are both rectangles because They both have 4 sides and 4 square corners. But what you're forgetting is, squares must have all 4 sides of the same length. But oblongs have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. So, they are not the same length. This is known as an oblong. Oblongs can be joined by 2 squares connected together. 2 or more squares. Now it's definitely an oblong, because 2 long sides and 2 short wee little sides makes an oblong, or a rectangle that is not a square. Come on. Oblong. 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 Come on, guys. An oblong is a rectangle that is not a square. Say it with me. An oblong is a rectangle that is not a square. An oblong is a rectangle that is not a square. Good. So this is an oblong, because this side is longer than this side. So that's an oblong. However, when we draw all 4 sides that are approximately the same length, we get a very special shape. It looks like, this, kind of. So, yeah, I can't draw a square very well. Okay, anyway, so, but we could prove if it's a square, if we could split it into 4 equal squares. I could split it into 4 equal squares. If that's possible, then it's a square. So, yeah, that's a square, all right. That is a special kind of shape when all 4 sides are the same length. This is an oblong, when a rectangle has 4 sides of different lengths. So, this is the difference. A square has 4 sides that are all the same length. An oblong rectangle has 4 sides that are of different lengths. Square, not a square. See? That's how you could tell the difference. You could use tick marks. Tick marks make a huge difference. So, yeah, we should already know by our excellent circle review what these are. Circle, 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 circle. Square and rectangle. This is a rectangle. This is a rectangle. And this is a rectangle. This whole thing is a rectangle. And that's also a rectangle. These are all rectangles. I speak very funny, and I like to speak funny. This is a square. This is a square. That's a square. That's a square there. That's a square, and then a square in one. Oh, yeah, we're getting 6 squares in total, baby. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I counted right. We got 6 squares pitching on the field. So, yeah, I just like to say stuff. I just like to shout, kind of. So, yeah. But a square is a special kind of rectangle. Because, as we remember, if the shape has 4 square corners and 4 sides, then it's a rectangle. A square has 4 sides, as well as 4 square corners. So guess what? It's a rectangle too. So the square could not only be colored blue, but also be colored yellow, because a square is a special kind of rectangle. So a square, in this case, could be both blue and yellow, because a square is a special kind of rectangle. But a circle is neither of these, because it does not have any sides at all and no corners. So there's no way guaranteed that a circle could be a square or a rectangle. There's no way. No way, siree. If we look carefully at this shape, these appear to be shorter and these appear to be longer. So it's not a square. Or a circle, because, hello, it has sides. This means that it's a rectangle. Like this. That's a rectangle. Now that we know and learned about our squares and rectangles, we could start practicing how to count shapes. So, counting shapes, that may be a new concept because we really didn't dive into that. But if you look closely and look at all the number routine lessons you have already learned from the past as a younger kindergartner, you may know how to do this already. It's very simple. Do you know your numbers? We all should know our numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, 1 to 10 is pretty much what kindergartners should start learning first about numbers, and the number 0, representing an empty value. But this time, we do it with shapes. Shapes could be represented by quantities as well. This is the number 3, as you can see here. This could also be the number 3, because if you look carefully, there are 1, 2, 3 circles. So it's basically the same counting lesson you've learned, except counting shapes. So it's really simple. It's nothing new. It's nothing new from your counting lesson. It's just simply counting shapes. But if we look here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. But this is the number 3, and there are 4 circles here. So that is not a group of 3 circles. That's a group of 4 circles. That's 3 circles, and that's 3 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 2 circles. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2. 2 circles. So, yes, because we all should know that 1 is not equal to 2. Because 1 is less than 2. So, yeah. 1 is 1 less than 2. Because 1 plus 1 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So, yeah. 1 is less than 2. 2 is greater than 1. That is why 1 is not equal to 2. 1 will always equal itself. So 1 will always equal 1. Basically. So this means that 2 must always equal 2. 5 must always equal 5. 4 must always equal 4, and 3 must always equal 3, and so on with the infinite sequence of natural numbers. Like 0 equals 0. 4 is 4. You know, that's common sense. 6 is 6. 7 is 7. 8 is 8. 9 is 9. 10 is 10. Whatever. So, yeah. Counting shapes is really nothing new. See? Look, the stars I was talking about. And the crescent. Wow, the crescent. This is a crescent, by the way. This is a crescent. These are stars. So, yeah. Counting shapes is literally nothing new. But if we look here, we could see that there are some wonky shapes. Wait a minute. Is that a shape I think we should already know? That's a triangle, all right. This over here, guys. This over here is a triangle. Let's review our triangles, everybody. Come on. Where are the triangles? I want to find the triangles. Ow. Ouch. Ooh. Ow. Triangles. Come on, triangles. Show me the triangles. Come on, triangles. Triangles, and triangles. Triangles. Finally, the triangles, the 3-sided shapes I finally found on my set. These are all triangles. But you're saying that this is not a triangle. Well, that is true because it has 4 sides. But if we split the square into 4 triangles, we could see that there are 4 3-sided shapes large into it. So these are all triangles. Even if they make a four-sided shape, they're still triangles, obviously, just if you split them apart, because they have three sides. So are these two. These are triangles. These are triangles. These are triangles. And this is a triangle. Let's practice writing our triangles. So what you do is draw a diagonal line and zip across, and then do it again. And then there's your wonderful masterpiece, your wonderful piece of art, your wonderful three-sided geometric figure, a triangle, baby. Woo! That's how you draw a triangle. Stick one down, go across, and stick one up. Triangle, yeah! Woo! You could sing funny songs to help you learn how to trace shapes. Some could even rhyme, like I just did. Look. Swipe down and go across. Swipe up a triangle, yeah! Across and yaw. They don't sound similar, but they do sound related, so that might be a song. Let's draw our triangles. All right. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Triangle, triangle, triangle. Triangles. Let's draw our triangles. 1, 2, 3 sides. 1, 2, 3 sides. 1, 2, 3 corners. 1, 2, 3 corners. 1, 2, 3 sides. 1, 2, 3 sides. Woohoo! 1, 2, 3 sides. Woohoo! Make a triangle. And 3 corners. 3 corners. 3 corners. 1, 2, 3 corners. Make a triangle. 3 sides and 3 corners. Yeah. Those are triangles. That's a large triangle. That's very large. And that's a tiny one. No matter what size, and even which way round, like an upside down triangle, because that's upside down, they're still triangles, because all that matters is if it has 3 straight sides and 3 corners, it's a triangle. So, even triangles can have square corners. Look at this. If we draw a triangle with 2 of its sides forming the letter L, then when we trace its corner, that's a square corner. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not going to be drawing a triangle. I'm going to be drawing a square. Because as we've seen before, squares have square corners. But hang on there, because I'm going to do something different. Zoop! Now, it's not a square anymore. Now, it's a triangle. Because I drew 2 sides, but then I drew an additional side with no more sides. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 0 is 0. I mean, 3, so, sorry. So, 3 plus 0 is 3. Gosh, I cannot speak today. So, that is a triangle with a square corner. So, yes, triangles and squares can really be best friends. I'm not kidding. Triangles can literally have a square corner. And squares are literally made from triangles. How insane is that? So insane. This is a triangle. Triangle, yeah. Sometimes when you need help building something that is made out of shapes, you may require some steps. Take this dog, for example, that wants to build an awesome doghouse. Woof, woof. But which shapes are required? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. Which shapes look almost completely identical to the shapes in the picture that could help you? This is an oval, as I talked about. That's an oval. But is that the same shape as in the picture? That's a rectangle. That's a square. That's a triangle. I don't see any ovals in there. So, nope. The doghouse does not have an oval structure in it. This means that it does not have a circular structure in it. No circles and no ovals in the doghouse. But if we look closely, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, these are the same. So the doghouse requires one triangle as its roof. So this is one of the required shapes. Now, this one could get you confused because that's a triangle as well. But if you look at those two triangles, this is more wide, while this is more slendered back. So, if the triangles have different postures, or what I like to call shape poses, like when you pose for a picture, then they are not the same. So this is not required. This is not the shape we need for the doghouse because it's shaped like this. But this is shaped like this. So that's the only triangle we need. And that remains the oblong rectangle, which is a rectangle that is not a square, and the square, which is a rectangle that is not an oblong. Fitting into those two perfectly viable spaces. Alright, we know a lot of shapes by now. Now, we did not talk about hexagons, pretty much. But we did mention hexagons in one of our geometry videos. But we did not talk too much about hexagons, because hexagons are very special. And by the way, here are all the shapes again to recap your memory. Come on. Speed run. Let's say our shapes the fastest. Triangle, rectangle, circle, square, hexagon, triangle, rectangle, circle, hexagon, triangle, circle, square, hexagon, rectangle, square, triangle, rectangle, circle, square, hexagon. Boy, that was fast. Now let's try it again. Hexagon, hexagon, square, square, circle, circle, rectangle, rectangle, triangle, triangle. Phew! This may require some practice, and maybe for advanced kindergartners to try, because beginners might not even understand what I'm saying. Triangle, rectangle, circle, square, hexagon, rectangle, triangle, triangle, circle, hexagon. That might be too confusing for beginners. So, speed run, it's basically when you say a lot of shapes all at once. So just to recap your memory, this is a circle because it's round. This is a triangle, 3 sides, 3 corners. That's a square, 4 sides and 4 square corners. This is a rectangle, also the same. And this is a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sides. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 corners. You should have already known this shape, but we're just reviewing it again because it could still be confusing for many beginners. So, it doesn't hurt to review this shape one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a hexagon. Let's draw our hexagons. The hexagon may be pretty hard to trace because it requires lots of lines, but I'll show you a simpler technique. Let's draw a diagonal line. There, we did it. Now let's draw a straight line. Okay, and then let's draw another diagonal line. So, from here, it pretty much looks like that I have 3 sides connected together. But how about if we do the same thing, except upside down? Now, another diagonal side, this diagonal side, and one more diagonal side. That makes a hexagon. Do you want to know why, everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and back to 1. So there are 6 sides of a hexagon, which means that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners in a hexagon too. That's a hexagon. So this means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's a hexagon too. Huh? Well, you might be saying, that does not look like a hexagon. It looks like a weird tooth thing. Well, yeah, it pretty much does. But this is still a hexagon, because no matter way round a hexagon is, as long as it has 6 sides and 6 corners, it could be considered a hexagon. Let's count its sides. Starting with 1, everybody. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back to 1. So there are 6 sides, meaning that there are 6 corners there. So, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a hexagon too. So, yeah, all that matters is if it has 6 sides and 6 corners, it's a hexagon. That's pretty much the last shape we're going to learn about. But I'm so glad we did this lesson. I'm so glad we kind of reviewed shapes for a little bit. So, yeah, that was a pretty brief but good lesson about all different kinds of shapes. Well, it was not too brief because there are exactly 51 minutes that we passed. But I'm still glad we did this about shapes and comparing numbers a little and how to count shapes. So, yeah, like you could say, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares and 2 triangles. Are there more squares or triangles? If we look over here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 squares and only 1, 2 triangles. 4 is greater than 2. So 4 squares is greater than 2 triangles. So, yeah, there are more squares than triangles because 4 is greater than 2. So there are more squares, meaning that there are less triangles because 2 is less than 4. See? Shapes and numbers go hand in hand. I am literally not kidding right now. Shapes and numbers are like best friends, BFFs, besties, whatever you like to call them. Because in order to classify a shape, we need to determine how many sides it has, which is a number. Ha 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 ha. That is where we'll stop for today. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to show these to you. The flower is shaped like a circle. Look at it. It's a flower. Especially those sunflowers. Sunflowers are yellow flowers that kind of look like, but are not exactly the sun, kind of, because they represent brightness and the color yellow. So, yeah, the flower is shaped like a complete circle because all its petals are arranged in a circle. This is completely round. The donut is also a circle because it's flat, and it's completely round with sprinkles and frosting and a bow on top. Yum, yummy yums. Anyways, I guess there's time for one more shape practice. Let's identify the shapes with 0 straight sides and 4 straight sides. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This shape has 4 straight sides. It's a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. This shape also has 4 straight sides. This is also a square. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 straight sides. This is a rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a second. A shape with 6 sides is a hexagon. This is not a shape with 0 or 4 straight sides. Instead, it has 6 straight sides, because if we count again, 1, then next comes 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6, rounding back to 1. There are 6 sides on this shape, so the L-like shape, the letter L shape, is a hexagon. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute, there are only 3 sides on that shape, and 3 sides on that shape, and 3 sides on that shape. These are not 0-sided or 4-sided shapes. They are three-sided shapes. They're all triangles. And these two ones are pretty difficult to identify. But they have one straight side. But that does not mean that they are shapes with only one side. Be careful. If we draw only one side, it does not close by itself. It needs at least two more to make a shape. So the minimum number of sides that a shape can have is none, like a circle. Because if you only draw one side with no curves, because this has a curve, then you can't connect it. Unless you draw a curve, then that one side cannot be connected. That is a very special kind of shape called a semicircle. A semicircle is half of a circle, because when you draw a semicircle and another semicircle just below it, you get a total circle. So this is a semicircle, or half of a circle, but it does not have 0 straight sides. It has one, but it also has a curve to connect that one straight side. So that does not mean that semicircles only have one side, because the minimum number of sides to enclose a figure is 3, while the minimum number a shape can have is none, like a circle. So yeah, a semicircle has one straight side along with one curved edge. This means that the rest of these shapes have 0 straight sides, because look at this. Circle. Oval. And this weird looking shape, kind of. That is known as a bean. It's a shape that is shaped like a bean, according to its name. So, some shapes might not have real names, but we could make them up to make them look real. See? So, even though this is not a real shape that is used in mathematics, we could still call it a certain shape as long as it matches up with what we are talking about. For example, look at this shape. It wobbles and squiggles all around. So what do you think it is? I think that's a squiggle. A squiggle. It's a squiggle. It has no sides at all, no corners, no visible corners I could see here. So this is a bean, this is a squiggle, that's an oval, and this is a circle. That's a triangle, that's a triangle, that's a triangle, that's a square, that's a square, that's a rectangle, that's a hexagon, that's a semicircle, that's a semicircle, that's a semicircle, that's a semicircle, that's a triangle, that's a circle, and that's a circle. Phew! We could also come up with more crazy shapes, like these. 4-sided shapes where one or more of its sides are diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. That also counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. That also counts. See? So we could make up our own kinds of shapes as long as they are closed. Because when they are open shapes, they are not real shapes. Open shapes are basically any shape that is not completely closed. Like, for example, take this shape. This shape is not completely closed because you could see a little tiny opening. That is the missing space where the sides need to connect. And if the sides don't connect, then it's not a shape. Because in a shape, all the sides have to be connected. If the sides are not connected, like this, then it's not a shape. Because that would leave an invisible space. That would be an open shape instead of an actual shape. That would simply be like this. Like, what? That's not a shape because it's not closed. So, yeah, it must not only look like a shape, But it also must be a shape. Yes, this is not a shape here, because look at this empty space. This empty space needs to get filled in. So yes, that's an open shape. However, this is a closed shape because its edge is completely connected. If it's not connected, then that's not a shape. That's just the letter C. That's a closed shape. That's a real shape. Because its edges connect together. Alright, that's it from us today about our circles, squares, rectangles, triangles, hexagons, and briefly about semicircles, ovals, beans, squiggles, and hearts, and stars, and crescents, and and shape counting. What a lot of these I could name. See? Look at the heart. Look at the heart. So adorable. Heart. Aww. So cute. Anyways, that's it from us today. I hope you had a lot of fun reviewing our shapes. Don't worry if you don't know a shape. It's okay to not know something. Just as long as you keep practicing and practicing to know better about the concept. Because remember, if you're learning something, you are winning something. Yes! That is really true. Because if you wanted to determine what shape your donut was and you didn't know, then I guess you would have to practice. Just look at the shape in general. Does it have sides? Does it not have any sides? Is it round? Is it curved? Is it straight? Is it open? Is it closed? Is it not a shape at all? What is it? Just think about the common sense. What even is this thing? Sometimes classifying things can help you classify shapes. Like, for example, a donut is a circle. Well, guys, what is this? A donut. It's a circle, all right. No more work. No more work needs to be shown. We know that it's a circle because it's a donut, and donuts are a circle. Wow. Great work we could have with so many kinds of shapes. Hey! Bye, everybody. Did you just say bye? Yeah, using your ears. I did, alligator. How did you even appear here? Oh, I was just sleepy. Okay. Anyways, bye, everyone. I hope you learned your shapes. The circles and the square and the squares and the triangles and the hexagons and the semicircles and beans and squiggles and zigzags and zaps and sawtooths and alligator. Sorry. Bye, everybody. Oh, be quiet.